All right, we're here talking about the truck series at Nashville. It's going to be probably a short video. I'm actually going to run out of time to do the Xfinity and Cup series preview, so I'll have to do that tomorrow morning. So at least you have the joyful pit stall video to watch and the truck series video. Very quickly, when we talk about Nashville and we look at Nashville, it's going to race like a pretty brutal 2-mile racetrack for the mid to back of the field drivers. We're going to see guys go laps down. We're going to see people off pace compared to the leader. We're going to see this field get spread out. I expect a lot of the field to go a lap down. I expect the leader, we're going to have probably one or two guys actually able to pass each other or have the leader run away. And then not a lot of passing once things get down to it, probably between 14th to 8th. They're just going to be where they're running based on their speeds. Nashville is very much an aero-dependent racetrack. We saw that last year to where the fastest cars were able to get through very quickly. When we look back at Nashville last year and we see Ryan Pearce win the race and we see the other cars basically coming out of that stable, Aldo Gillen was in the front row motorsports truck and Tanner Gray was in the DGR 15. Those cars were caught cheating, with inspection failures before the race. They had to start at the rear, and they were stupid fast. Parise was the one truck who made it through inspection out of that same stable to where it's not one, but two of the three trucks were cheating. Parise makes it through. Parise runs away with the race, kills the field, absolutely dominates, and passes Enfinger late in the race. Dominates, I threw that word around too late. Enfinger led 39 laps, but Parise had a stupid fast car in this race. Who else was there? Who else really had the fastest car? It was Todd Gillen, who had to start dead last, basically, starting 35th, drove up through the field, didn't win the race, but had the fastest car here. When we look entering Nashville, I want to play the cars who have been showing fast speed in traffic, in front of the field, no matter what the case was. When we're looking at Nemechek, we're looking at a guy who hasn't necessarily had the best truck this year in the truck series, and specifically not the best truck in long green flag speed. Specifically, when we look at him being stuck in traffic, Charlotte didn't have the fastest truck. When we look at Texas, didn't have the fastest truck. Kansas, not necessarily the fastest truck. He is there, top 5 in speed, but he's not there. For me, it's Zane Smith and Chandler Smith as the two guys who can be the fastest there. Once we get out of that, it's Rhodes and Friesen. I'm not just saying that because they're following the salary. For me, my opinion, that's where it leans towards in terms of speed. When we really start tearing apart where I think this goes, I think we can very easily look back at where the DGR cars are coming from. Bob Jenkins with Zane Smith and front row basically being a DGR affiliate team, or DGR being a front row affiliate, however you want to look at it. Basically, they run the identical cars. If Tanner Gray was a better race car driver, he would actually be up there winning races. Okay? When I look at the practice speed between Zane Smith, which we've seen this year be way faster at the line compared to other people, and I made the mistake the first time of looking at that as, oh, maybe that's just a queue time. Maybe it's a hot lap. It's only 1 or 2 laps, and then he went down pit road, yada, yada, yada. If we see Zane Smith and Ryan Pearce both in top 6 speeds, I'm most likely laying my bed or laying next to them. They're my bed, okay? Zane Smith and Ryan Pearce. Not because Ryan Pearce won the race last year, but these Fords, specifically in the truck series, and specifically Zane Smith, have been stupidly fast. I would be shocked if Zane Smith is not in contention for this race. That's just where I'm at. I truly, truly believe Zane Smith is going to be there. When we start going through, I don't see it for Stuart Friesen. Yes, he had the fastest car at Texas, but that's okay. That was a good race, but I think there's other guys who are going to be faster than him. Eckes, most likely going to be an 8th place car. And when we start getting 9K guys here, Friesen, Eckes, Heim, Ty Majeski. If Majeski shows speed again, which Majeski has backed up his speed in practice, we've learned that this year. The speed that Majeski shows in practice has translated to race speed nearly every single race this year. So if Majeski has a 6th place, a 5th place, a 7th place, 3rd place, whatever the case is, in practice, I think that's where he's going to run. It just depends on where he qualifies. So when we go to the 9K range, my favorite play in that 9K range is Majeski. And when we're looking at this race, I don't know why I feel like I have rabies. I feel like I'm turning into a mess. When we look at this race in the 10K range, we could play 2 of these guys, and we could play a 9K guy, especially with how many potential drivers we might have in this race and who makes this field based on who qualifies, who doesn't. Gigantic entry list this week, so we're most likely going to have some value come through in the low 5s, in the 4s. It's going to be very easy to build a lineup with 2 10K guys or a 9K guy, or whatever you want to do. Going to be very easy to do with the value that comes through. So right now, it's Zane Smith, it's Ryan Pearce, it's Ty Majeski. Those guys are the ones clocking off. Now, Hocevar, show me in practice, okay? Show me what you can do in practice. That's just how it's going to be. Are you going to cry? Are you going to be emotional on the racetrack, Hocevar? Are you going to be like, this is my big break again? You know, this is my one chance to win a race? You know, just arrive to the track and just be there, please. Like, and don't get mad at other people. If you're watching the live show, at the live watch-along for Eldora, Hocevar was just blinded. He had the blinders on. He's like, everybody else is a fucking idiot. I'm the one who deserves these races. That guy put me in the berm. You know, like, Hocevar, just get through the race. Go back to just being the hat man. Just be happy to be in the position you're at, and you can pay it off at $8,900 very easily. If you show me top 6 speeds, you'll most likely then become my favorite play in the 8K range. Enfinger, probably going to qualify pretty poorly. I don't think Enfinger is going to show the speed in practice. We've seen Enfinger gain a ton of positions late in these races. Enfinger is very dependent on when the final restart happens. That's where we're seeing, and really the final 2 restarts happen. That's where we're seeing Enfinger gain positions. That's where we're seeing Crafton gain positions. That's where we're seeing Kligerman gain positions. Now, Kligerman, I will say, has had a better race car this year than last year. Henderson Motorsports is clearly putting more effort into certain races and focusing on certain races more than others. The fact that they are coming back to Nashville, we saw that he ran all the laps in the 30s last year. We saw that he ran all the laps in the top 25, all laps in the top 20. If he can show me that they've improved the speed and that they are somewhat somewhat competitive from practice, give me an 11th, 12th place speed, Kligerman, then I would believe in you. And that's not based on, you know, just generic where he's been finishing this year, but show me in practice. Nashville is going to be very telling in practice. As I stated when I first started this track is, I mean, every track of the Truck Series is full throttle, but this one is very dependent on what your motor can do and what you are aero-dependent-wise in terms of what your team can bring to the track. And so once we get to these guys, like Derek Kraft's going to have speed as well. We'll just see how well he is. Tyler Anker most likely going to start and qualify and finish, you know, between 13th and 18th, somewhere around there. As I said, Tanner Gray, there's a good chance that if Zane Smith is fast, if Parise is fast, Tanner Gray can actually be fast here. Just can you not wreck Tanner? This is a week I'm entering. Maybe this becomes the chalk Tanner week again, because I hate entering weeks where I'm like, you know, Tanner Gray can be a pretty good play here, because that's usually when he's chalky, and that's usually when I want to avoid him. But this is a race, in my opinion, that leads to Tanner Gray being able to show up and race. It just depends on what he can do. Kobe Howard, probably not going to want to go there. Chase Purdy, not going to go there as well. Haley Deegan, DGR, yet again. Just show me the speeds, man. Show me this. Can you hold it? Can you be there? That's fine. Todd Boudin. We're seeing Todd Boudin gain positions late in these races, taking care of the car. $7,000 is much more what I want to pay for him compared to what he was earlier in the season. I think when he was like 8,000, some stupid thing. Give me 35 points, Todd. You're fine. You get value. I don't hate that. Probably one of my more interesting plays in the low 7K range would be Todd Boudin. Brett Holmes, I just can't do it, man. We've been through this road before. Jack Wood, same thing. Show me that you just can't wreck. We might do it. I would rather play Hill over Fogelman. I think Lawless Allen is going to be fine. Certainly, if he starts in the back, I think he can be a great place differential play. The issue comes from this. So once we pass Timmy Hill, everybody below him in the salary range is dependent on practice speed. If I see good speed from people, I'm going to play him. If I see slow speed from people, I'm not going to play him. This is not a race where I expect Spencer Boyd to work due to wrecks happening late in this race, because this field is going to be spread out. And unless they wreck in the restart, you're not going to be able to take out gigantic portions of the field for him to gain a lot of positions. Parsons, we're going to have to see the time. Dean Thompson, you're in a Nice machine. Show me the time. Chris, show me the time. Jesse Little, I think you're the only car down here that can maintain speed. Okay? We're seeing more, like I said, we're seeing more teams show up. You know, Self is back. With Max driving, we got Clay Greenfield back in the field. We got Chris Wright. And so Chris Wright right now seems like the chalk play for $4,900. Should have a car that can finish 30th easily. Should be a car that can compete for 26th. However this race plays out. At this point, it depends on what the practice speeds are. Trey Hutchins, you're not going to have the speed. Caden Honeycutt, I'm so used to iRacing with everybody calling him Katie Honeycutt. And so that'll most likely switch or slip quite a lot this weekend, because that's just what everybody calls him on iRacing. G2G car truck, not trusting. Carroll, just show me what you got. Cobb, if you truly are going to try and show up, show me what you got. And so I'm telling you, once you nail your lap leaders, once you nail your four main guys, your value players are going to be dependent on what they do in practice. Okay, that's just what it is. Practice speed, practice speed, practice speed for your value plays. For really, probably 3 of your 6 drivers is going to be based on practice speed. Once you get your main lap leader that you want, once you get probably your secondary lap leader that you want, and then your third guy who can either compete for the race or just maintain his position or gain a few in the top 10. That's how I'm going to approach this weekend in Nashville. And so right now I'm very hesitant on playing guys that are just quote-unquote bad plays. Like, if it's a bad play and they're not showing speed, I'm going to be crossed off. I'm going to have a very, very small player pool for the Truck Series this weekend at Nashville. Thank you for listening, and I will see you guys in the next video for Xfinity and Cup Series, which I'll probably record tomorrow. So I will see you guys later.